So 65% of people who use debt to pay for their vacations, they actually think about that debt and how they're going to pay for it while they're on the actual vacation. Also, over 1/3 of people who use credit cards to pay for travel are still paying for their last vacation as we speak. Now, imagine going on a vacation where the only thing on your mind is relaxation and adventure, not credit card bills and debt. Now, today we're going to be diving into some of the practical tips and strategies to ensure you enjoy every sun-soaked moment without the shadow of debt looming over you. And today you'll listen in and learn how you can make your dream vacation a reality with some of the tips that we've used over the years being debt-free. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to today's show. I am Brad Nelson, founder of Debt Free Dad. I paid off about $45,000 in debt, have been debt-free now for more than 11 years outside of my mortgage. I've also been fortunate enough to help thousands of other people save and pay off tens of millions of dollars with the work that we've done here at Debt Free Dad.
And I'm Amber Taylor, and we paid off $54,000 in debt in 20 months, and we've been debt-free since 2018 outside of our mortgage.
And I'm Kati Hatfield, and I am still paying off debt, so I'm on the journey, but it's almost 6 years, $166,858 paid off on a single income.
And my name is Ryan, and my wife and I paid off about $160,000 over 8 years while raising a family.
Now, guys, after listening to this episode, if you guys want to take this a step further and you'd like to take better control of your finances and get better results in as little as 30 to 60 days, we're going to be sharing some information about how you can get started with that later on in today's show. So, guys, as this episode releases, it is the thick of summer in the United States, and obviously people are going on vacations and obviously maybe even going into debt for those vacations. In fact, to kick off today's conversation, guys, I want to just share some eye-opening statistics from wallethub.com. And their key stats and their study found this. It says more than 1 in 3 people still have credit card debt from their last vacation that they took. Nearly 1 in 4 Americans would actually skip a credit card payment. Guys, this is funny. Before they actually skip a vacation. 65% of people think about post-vacation credit card bills while they're on vacation, which we talked about in the intro. And 55% of Americans plan to actually spend less money this summer than last summer, which might be a good thing, right? Half of Americans plan to use credit card rewards to pay for their vacations this coming year. And the most popular benefits that they use them for are rental car insurance, travel accident insurance, price protection are the top 3 credit card benefits used by most people. So I don't know, guys. I mean, I wasn't terribly shocked by this particular study. And we got another one we're going to be talking about when it comes to, well, Katie may have given it away with her mouse ears that she's got. But what do you guys feel about this? Because this is how I used to go on vacation. I mean, I use credit cards all the time. And I was one of those people who was still paying on their last vacation. And I still going on another vacation. You just never quite paid those things off.
Yeah, I would say paying off the last 5 vacations, not just the last one. And it definitely is so much nicer now to travel after you've budgeted and everything is like paid for ahead of time. So you don't have to worry about that and the stress of paying that credit card bill off or worrying about it while you're on the beach.
Yeah. Katie, that was 100% us as well. I don't want to bash any places because it's not. We love Disney. We still do. But we went so many times when the kids were younger and we never paid it off. And it was like, it was just, we're only paying $150 a month on that credit card. It's a big deal, and we just would do it. We'd pay it down a little bit, charge the next one. And yeah, we had, tens of thousands of dollars worth of vacations that we ended up, that vacation that we took, that was whatever at the time, $3,000 or $4,000 by the end of the time. Or if we spent $20,000 total on vacations, it probably cost us $50,000 or $60,000 with all the interest and everything we paid to go there.
Yeah, travel is no joke, man. It is. I mean, yes, you can go on the cheap, but man, when you got a family, especially a larger family, it is. I mean, food is crazy expensive, I think, and when it comes to vacation, you really got to be careful with the food side of things. But yeah, it's like, I remember, you'd look at that initial price of the vacation, but I used to always forget about all of the extra things like the airport parking, the food while you're traveling. It was like all of the little things that added up that really made the vacation that much more expensive than that original cost that you paid for.
Yeah, you always think about that original cost, or this vacation's only going to cost X amount of dollars. We paid this for the flight and the hotel. We're good.
But then you forget sunscreen, and it's like $80,000 at the hotel lobby, right?
Yeah.
I believe I spent $33 in Mexico on sunscreen when I forgot it once.
Yeah.
Was it like a dollar store size sunscreen too?
Yeah, it was not like a full size by any means.
Yep. One application. Oh, we're out. No, but for real, I think, if you want to travel nowadays and do it, I wouldn't use the word economically, but just do it with a plan. I mean, you really got to do your research, and especially if money's tight. Like, there's a lot of people who rack up extra debt because they're not prepared for a lot of those, those extra expenses along the way.
Yeah, or when something wrong happens.
Oh, right.
Flights get canceled or something happens, and then you're stuck with a hotel bill and whatever else on the way. So, yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend who went on a cruise. One of their kids ended up getting sick, and they had to get medical treatment on the ship, and it was like hundreds of dollars just for some simple treatment. It wasn't even anything really advanced, but hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So it's like things like that happen on vacations, right? You got to have a plan for some of those. But it's interesting, you guys. Obviously, Katie is wearing her ears, and Ryan, you brought up Disney, and I want to bring up this study from Lending Tree. They actually did a study on Disney vacations. And the title of this article says 45% of Disney-going parents with young children have gone into debt for the trip. It says, with Disney prices as high as they are, once upon a dream has become once upon a debt for many Americans, particularly parents with young children. According to the latest Lending Tree survey of over 2,000 U.S. consumers, 24% of Disney goers have gone into debt for a trip, a figure that rises to 45% among parents with children younger than 18, which of course, I don't know the statistics of everyone that goes to Disney. I know there's like adult fanatics like Katie and Brian. You guys all love Disney, right? And some of the findings in this one were among the 77% of theme park going parents with children younger than 18 who've been to Disney, 45% have gone into debt for a Disney trip, with 83% acquiring it most recently in the past 5 years. Among Disney goers, 24% have gone into debt for a trip, and that's a 33% increase from 18% in the 2022 survey. Which, guys, I'm wondering if that's just because prices have increased so much there. I'm curious. I'd be interested to see why there's such an increase there. The memories are worth the debt for most parents. Among parents of young children who've gone into debt for the Disney trip, 59% say they have no regrets. So, I mean, Ryan, you speak about that. Like, you guys went to Disney a lot. We took Noah there when he was 5, but we paid cash for it because we were debt free. But it was still expensive, but not too bad because he was only one child. But I mean, you guys went. I mean, do you guys have regrets now?
I don't have regrets going once or twice. I think what we have regrets on is like we were going every year and every other year for a while. It's hard to say because I can't take it back. So yeah, we have great memories of that. But I also know, like you read some of those statistics. I mean, on vacation, my wife and I were fighting about it, or we're walking through the theme park and the kids want something and we're like, we can't we can't charge, we shouldn't be doing this. It wasn't fun. It wasn't as fun. And then getting home, it was just a lot of like, now we got to pay this off. Right. But the mindset also, though, at the time was like, we didn't really care. I mean, I don't want to sit here and act like we really cared a lot. I mean, we did. It was stressful. But then it's like, we've talked about this a lot on this podcast, you'd put a Band-Aid on it, right? And the pain would go away. We'd figure something out. The pain would go away. And we'd be like, we're going to go again. And so I think by the third or fourth time when it was like, and then our credit cards really started racking up, I think at that point, then it's regretful. But I mean, if I had to do it all over again, I definitely wouldn't have charged it.
Yeah, this is one of those tough ones. Yeah, I think this is probably for most people that, you only live once, or you only get so many experiences in your life. And I think this is probably one that a lot of people struggle with, because, you only get one life. And is it worth it to go into debt for some of these types of vacations? I think it's a really good conversation. I love listening to people who say, they're all in, they'll use debt, just because I'm interested in other people's viewpoints. I got to admit, after everything that I've gone through over the last, couple years in my life, I can relate to some of that mindset now, because, I lost someone at such a young age, and it's like, you do only have so much time. But at the same time, like we've talked about in a most recent episode about this whole YOLO life, I think, you still have to have some sort of a balance to it too, because, that mentality it can financially bury you if you're not careful.
Definitely. Like when you go through the Disney parks and all the families have their matching shirts and it's like best day ever, but the dads always says most expensive day ever. Like that's quite true for very good reason. But yes, definitely. I do have a couple of tips, at least for Disney. So you can bring water, snacks, drinks, anything like that, as long as they're not in glass and there's no alcohol. You can bring your own food so you don't have to pay for it, and bring your own water bottle, because every quick service restaurant will give you free ice water, because you definitely need to stay hydrated, especially in the summer. Get a popcorn refill bucket, because the refill is way cheaper. Free buttons. So like your first visit, you can get a free button at the town hall or guest services, or if it's your birthday or anniversary, whatever.
And you talk about that. You brought bringing stuff in. It says concessions broke the budget the most for Disney goers. It says, when asked what expenses cost significantly more than planned, 65% of those with Disney debt said in-park food or beverages, 48% general transportation costs, 47% said accommodations, and then fortunately 41% of Disney park goers were able to use a discount on their most recent trip.
I feel like food is one of those big costs regardless of where you're going, especially when you're going to a destination.
Well, they mark it up like crazy. It's unbelievable.
Well, that's the only reason we go.
That's all. And sometimes I went because I'm also gluten-free, and they don't upcharge for gluten-free food, and they make it really good. So yes, I did sometimes just go to Disney to eat, but I didn't stay there the whole day, and I also didn't have to pay for park admissions.
So wait, you only wait, back up. You only go to Disney to eat. What do you mean?
Oh yeah.
So the food is really good there, and I lived an hour away, but I would go for the day, and I would just go to eat at different restaurants. So yes, the food is the most expensive part of it, but I worked there. I got in for free, so I didn't have to pay the $150 a day admission or whatever it is now.
You just paid the $150 per meal.
They knew if they let me in, they were going to make money that day.
Yep. It's like Jim Gaffigan, the comedian. He talks about Disney, and he's like, yeah, maybe we should get something to eat, and then maybe when we're done, we'll walk over, maybe get a snack. And then when we get done with that, maybe we'll get something to eat. I'm like, that's our vacation at Disney. But I do think, like, not just Disney, but I know there's other places that do this. And this is probably an area where I feel personally that payments aren't a bad thing. Is, you can book trips now and pay a deposit of $200 or $300, and then over the course of the next 12 or 18 months, just pay every, you don't have to, but basically you can set yourself a budget up and pay on that every month, which is, we've done that, as we were getting out of debt, we started doing that. And we took advantage of it. I think our problem was, and I think a lot of people's problem is, vacations are kind of a lot of times spur of the moment feeling, right? It's like,
sure.
I want to go to Disney, and I want to go in 2 months, and we don't have $5,000 right now. But it's like, if you said, hey, I want to go to Disney, I want to go in 24 months, and you just, pay $200 a month on that, well, now you can go. But I think there's a lot of that spur of the moment stuff. And we used to get caught up in that.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, you're basically just, you're using a budget, you're using almost a forced savings plan to go. But I would agree. I think that's where a lot of people kind of probably get into. Well, that's where I got into trouble with it, mostly in the wintertime, when it's cold here. I'm in Wisconsin, and Amber, you're in Canada. Katie, you're back in Wisconsin, and Ryan's the only lucky one that's further down south. but you get to like end of January and February, and I don't mind the winter up until that point, but that's when I can't stand it. That's the part where it's like you get the itch I need to get out of here, right?
And you're seeing all the people that are going. Like all of your Facebook, your feed is full of social media people just out there going on a beach.
Screw those Facebook posts. I hate those people that time.
Right? But it makes you want to go, ooh, that looks good. And then before you know it, you're looking at vacations online and you're booking it and you're going into debt.
But that's why I always plan a vacation for next February, like January, February. I always have
Bingo.
to look forward to that already is budgeted, because I book a hotel that doesn't require a deposit. I just have it on hold because then the price is good. Same with the flight, same with the rental car, all of that. I'm like, by the time I get there, it's paid for, except for
So guys, real quick, before we get to celebrations and stuff, can you guys share, obviously you guys, I know Katie, you're still working on getting out of debt, but you've traveled a lot. I mean, you have been traveling, you've been back and forth to Florida still. So can you guys share now, like how you guys, just some quick things that you guys have done to help you make it do it differently, where you're staying out of debt, where you actually are going, where it doesn't follow you home, where it's a lot of fun there, there's no stress, and you actually have money to spend and have a good time?
Well, I mean, I plan for it. I budget for it. We save money. And we add extra money to the savings. Like if the vacation is going to cost us, let's say $4,000, I'm probably saving 5 to 6 because I know there's going to be hidden costs that I'm not expecting. And then when I'm there and they pop up, I'm not even stressed about it. It just, all right, I expected it. But that's kind of where we're at. We plan for it. We keep a savings. And then that's easy because then we get home. We don't even got to think about it. We think about the next trip we're going to plan for.
Yeah. And it's a hell of a lot easier when you don't have any payments and you got a pile of money you can save every month for vacation.
Yep,
That's nice.
Exactly.
And I think doing things, when we went early and when we were in debt, we did a lot of vacations and we did them really nice, because it was on credit and we didn't care.
Yeah.
I think for us, it was just kind of scaling that back a little bit and not, we still have an awesome time. At the end of the day, nobody's like, oh my gosh, this was a terrible vacation because of where we stayed or the room we stayed in or the hotel we stayed in. So I think we've just kind of scaled some of that back and just said, we still want to do it. We still want to go. We still want to have a good time, but we don't have to do this, super extravagant best of the best so we can post it on Facebook. Like we used to, we just kind of got out of that social media habit of like showing everybody where we're going. Like where we're going is for us. It's not for anybody else.
That's so true. It is. It's so true. I've been doing that a lot lately, just not posting stuff. It's like, it's actually kind of nice, right? You're doing everything in your life for you, not as like, look at what we're doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's pretty cool.
All right. So I feel called out because I always post everything about all my trips.
I do too. It's okay.
But I do the same thing where now instead of charging it and then paying it off later for a long time, I now plan ahead, which also is helpful when it comes to, I get a lot of PTO with my day job, but I have to know what it is ahead of time. Like I have to know where I'm going, and I've never been one that planned trips in advance. So now like this year, I've already used up pretty much all my PTO, and it's the end of or middle of June because I'm like, I had all these trips already planned and it was awesome. And I don't have the credit card bills when I come back from it because I have given myself some grace. Like I was hardcore paying off my debt, like to the point where I needed to like ease off a little bit. And I had to just say, you know what? I also have to have fun. Yeah. This is going to be a long journey. It's just going to be a couple months extra if I just wiggle things around and say, okay, I'm not going to throw all of this at this trip, at this credit card. I'm going to actually like give myself a vacation to look forward to. And it's just so much less stressful and life is good. I am glad I do it this way now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair too, I mean, several of the trips that you've taken so far this year have been through your side hustle that you're doing too, right?
Yes. Those were paid for the last 2, which was nice.
Right. Which makes sense because obviously you're promoting the business and wanting people to join and things like that. So, I mean, yeah, that's a little bit different, I think, than just saying, look at me, right?
Right.
And I definitely paid for at least 4 other trips in the last 2 years myself.
Yeah. And I'll just say, I remember the first vacation we took when we were getting out of debt, and we paid it up. We paid for it all and went and had no debt and had everything planned and budgeted for. You owe it to yourself to do that because the feeling and being on vacation it was so different for the first time in my life of being on a vacation where I knew coming home, it didn't even matter. Like there were some things that we weren't happy with. And when you have it on a credit card, you're pretty pissed off about that. But when you pay for it all and it's done, it's like it sucked, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. But when you're coming home and having to pay that off for the next 12 or 24 months, knowing that something wasn't right and you weren't happy, that's even worse. So that's probably my biggest thing is like, if you just do it one time, and I think you'll never probably charge a vacation again, because even being on vacation is so much more peaceful.
Yeah. Well, we were just on vacation in Florida a couple months ago, and we got delayed because of weather back home. We got delayed almost all day, and we called the airline company, and they basically just said, we'll put you on another flight tomorrow for free. But that meant that we were staying, for an extra night. That cost us like almost $600 in extra food, hotel room. Mm-hmm. And although it was kind of a pain, at the same time, it was like, it's no big deal. Like, we made the best of it. We had fun. Now, if we would have had put $600 more on a credit card to do it, I would have been pissed, right? Right. It would have just been terrible. It would have caused so much stress, so much more fights when you got home, But because you have a plan and because you expect those things now because of experience, it makes it a lot less stressful all around. All right, guys, if you want to pay off more debt, save more money, and take better care of your finances and start seeing some better results here in just the next 30 to 60 days, all you have to do is head over to debtfreedad.com, click on the green button at the top of the page, and I'm going to show you how you can get started right now today. As always, guys, congratulations to all of you guys who are taking a stand for your financial lives and are wanting better. We get that getting out of debt isn't easy. But with our help and with your consistency and discipline, we promise you guys this will be some of the best work that you guys do in your entire lives. Thanks for joining us on today's show, and we will see you guys next week. Take care.